Breaking news! A wizard has recently been sighted for the first time in years at a coal mining protest in Germany, in a small German village called Lützerath. Around 15,000 protesters showed up to cry out against the looming threat of a coal mining company taking over this small village. Now, you might have already seen articles of Greta Thunberg, who was there, being temporarily detained. But what's actually more important than that is that she somehow has created an alliance with local wizards and has gained the support of the now famous Mud Wizard. Hi there. I'm Carrie the Snail, and today we're going to be talking about wizards, their role in society, and their recent resurgence in the public eye. Wizards. Wizards and the wizarding race. Wizards of time and space. Wizards of Waverly Place. They don't often show themselves, let alone take a public stance on political matters, but in a heroic effort to support the fight against climate change, a wizard controlling the forces of mud has gained notoriety for his recent appearance. Now let's go to the play-by-play from the Snail on the Ground corresponder. Over to you, Carrie.
Thanks, Carrie. Now, the clip of footage that we have of the scene, the battle, takes place in the middle of this great field, and what you'll notice is that it's extremely muddy. Some might say too muddy to exist without the use of magical force. And there are dozens and dozens of police at the scene, presumably to shut down the protest. What you'll see follow is Mud Wizard fending them off. This is just a devastating scene. As you can see, the policemen are just getting swallowed up like it's a freaking Snarlack pit. And then they're just getting obliterated by big chunks of mud just... They are absolutely immobilized, falling over each other. So you might be asking yourself, what is responsible for causing this immense carnage? But the question you should be asking is, who? Enter Mud Wizard. As you can see down here, he is holding what looks like a spell tome, probably the spell he cast to create this mud pit. Now, you also might be thinking, he's just standing around. He's not doing anything. They're getting stuck. He's just watching them flail around like helpless little babies in the turf. You'd be incorrect. After such a devastating display of mudmancy, Mud Wizard doesn't need to be doing anything more. He stands around reveling in his overwhelming power. They're on his turf. It's like trying to fight a squid in the ocean. You're worried about just keeping afloat and trying to throw the squid is just wrapping you up like Christmas. You don't have a chance. It's like trying to fight a dog while you're on four legs. Also, dog to dog style, not doggy style. I mean, you may be trying to put the slip on the dog, but he's just gonna wrap you up in a chokehold. You're not gonna know what happened to you. He is making a fool out of them, a spectacle. They are using all their chakras just to try to stand upright in the mud, and Mud Wizard's just prancing around him. You might be asking yourself, how is he impervious to the mud? Well, I mean, obviously, if you look at his robes, he's got some sort of build where he has 100% mud negation. You don't think Mud Wizard is gonna be caught dead, sinking in his own mud. Look at that, he gives him a little pat on the back as if to say, you'd have more luck getting out of the crypto market. Now, this is interesting. Look what Mud Wizard does here. Mud Wizard's staking his spell tome in the ground in front of them. I imagine it's like a taunting victory lap. Slipping and sliding, getting gummed up in the mud while you get to look at the spell just staring you in the face. Mud Hole. Target player removes all land cards in his or her graveyard from the game. Doing okay back there, Tarv? Tarv? Tarv, say something to me, man, please. Now, this was an extremely disrespectful move on the policeman's part. Mud Wizard's just trying to stake the tome in there like it's his gravestone, and he just grabs it and frisbees that away. Look, I know it's a frustrating situation, my guy, but you can't mess with the Mud Wizard's crap. Would you like to comment on what just happened? No comment. Okay, now this was a pretty wild turn of events. Most wizards don't stoop to hand-to-hand combat, but you perform such a disrespectful act that you get shoved by the wizard, my friend? That is embarrassing. In a normal setting, you play shoving match against a wizard, you're probably gonna win hands down. But brother, you get shoved by a wizard who's not proficient in dexterity? In layman's terms, that's what we call getting dunked on hard. There seems to be a little bit of a retreat. They were able to get their buddy out of the mud, and then we pan over to a different scene where we find another confrontation. Now, I have to say, I think Mud Wizard went a little too far on this one. Another couple policemen just trying to pull their buddy out of the impenetrable mud, and then Mud Wizard comes in with another shove. I have to say, I think he went a little overboard with the shove moves. Now, it's clearly getting to them because they just whip out the pepper spray and Mud Wizard just flees the scene. We don't see Mud Wizard for a little bit. We're a little concerned that actually he was taken down in this case. But then a minute later, Mud Wizard comes back. He seems to be fine. Maybe he casted an antidote spell. Who's to say? For a second, he does this weird sort of necromancy, raise skeletons from the ground kind of move, which would be absolutely horrifying. That would be a declaration of war, but he just kind of haphazardly does the little jig and then just forgets about it. And then he just kind of saunters off. They're far too beneath him for him to perform that kind of high-level spell. So that's about all the footage we have for today. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Carrie. That was really thorough. Now, it was really encouraging to see Mud Wizard show his allegiance to these protesters, but this in turn begs the question, why haven't we seen wizards in the public eye recently, and will more come out of the woodwork in order to fight for our cause? One of the more recent pieces of footage we have of a wizard in public is Rave Wizard. Rave Wizard is well known among the rave community. We see him from time to time delighting us with his proficiency in light spell casting while we're just tripping balls. You know, wizards are often known for using their magic to just create an awesome party. Why do you think wizards like Gandalf show up at Bilbo's 11st birthday party? That's a great occasion to bring your magical pyrotechnics. Why do you think they show up pretty much anytime there's some pipe weed involved? You know what I mean? Where do you think we get magic mushrooms from? We need wizards like Rave Wizard who are there to just let us, decompress after a hard day's work. When you clock out of the office, you get in your car, drive straight to the rave, you want Rave Wizard there, ready to cast a confetti spell right in your face and make you feel at home. See, some may look at this and be annoyed saying, why aren't wizards using their powers for good? Well, have you considered that they're using their powers for a good time? And that's invaluable. And when we are blessed to be in proximity to that, you should consider yourself lucky. Now, this next wizard I want to talk about is very important. And if it wasn't for people like Charlie, Moist Critical, who you might know him by, he and his infinite internet knowledge reminded us of a lost piece of documentation, probably one of the most important wizard encounters that we've ever had. Interestingly enough, another German wizard goes by the name Magsmrodu, which is German for stink mage. Don't be surprised if you really only see wizards in the partying context. As you can see here, it looks like a Woodstock festival. And then I can't tell who's performing, but it looks like a top hat. Looks like it could be Guns N' Roses or something. What was that, Slash? I'm not sure. But yeah, as you can see here, there's just like a pool of filth that has accumulated. I don't know, people seem to be in their shorts and swim trunks already, like they knew this was gonna happen. Although it's a pretty nasty pool. There's just bottles and trash everywhere. And then we have Magsmrodu, the stink mage. Now, here's the thing. Like a light that's outside the public restroom at the park, you get moths that just come out of the woodwork floating around. A similar thing happens with wizards. You get a music festival. You get a protest. Wizards will come out. It may be rare, but it happens. In this case, we have just this little disgusting river of scum and bottles and trash, used tampons probably, and then lo and behold, we get Stink Mage. As you can see, he's got his mage staff, and he seems to be reaching into the river for something. What is he reaching for? Let's watch. He's really digging around in there. He's like calling out a catfish or something. No, actually, he just dropped it. He pulls out, look at that, bottle of like pure filth. Now, the interesting thing is, like, was he drinking something and then dropped it in the filth pool, pulled it back out, and now it's filled with filth? Or did he take his own bottle and just, scoop up all of the sewage and is just, right there punishing his mana, taking sips out of that, not even batting an eye. I mean, as you can see, people are looking at him, questioning, like, geez, what is this guy doing? He just drank freaking pond scum out of the river. No, that's actually, it's him replenishing power. Also, I think you might notice that he's in his underwear right now, just basking in the filth. No, barely any layers in between. This guy, no, not you. And then what you'll notice, this guy here, seemingly a good Samaritan, tries to tell him, hey buddy, you're drinking like fish poop out of this thing. You don't think the stink mage knows that he's drinking sewage? Of course he is. It was unwarranted, but I mean, how would this guy know that this is the one true stink mage? Not a lot of people know. I love this. He hits us with a little raise of his mage staff, as if to assure us that he is reigning over this pool of filth, disgusting throw-up boogers, toenails, and that we can rest assured that it will continue being as dank and stanky as Mr. Max Moto here. We appreciate you, and yeah, look at this guy over here. He's just like, oh yeah, that's the stink mage. All right, now the last wizard that we need to talk about, but certainly not the least, is Wizard Yensid. Now, to the uninitiated, if you are adverse to the sheer force of sonic witchcraft, then I encourage you right now to turn down your volume. In other words, it's probably going to get a little loud. Okay, there's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to unpack there. Being a wizard of pure sonic rage that would just cut through the ears, smash the eardrums of any opponent that stands in your path. He even just destroys us. Well, he had like the little spit move. He just I spit on you in your weak-ass Fortnite techniques. Sonic witchcraft is nothing to mess with. You have both your eardrums blown out, your stereo system's blown out. You won't even know what hit you by the time he's gone. You will have secured a first place in Fortnite by the time you even realize, oh my gosh, what happened? Why is there spit everywhere? So, I mean, if you get caught in that, that's like the sonic equivalent of just getting caught in a whirlpool. You're floating around. You don't even know which way is up, which way is down. Whatever he could be saying is unintelligible. He's using his pure sonic rage. It's just daggers into your ears. You wouldn't even, it doesn't even matter what he's trying to say to you. I love the chat comment here, just shh. Like a polite librarian. If this guy was in the library, he would be arrested. Also, what is that? This looks like a hole in the wall. I imagine maybe he just gave a little right into the wall. I don't know. Maybe he even just gave like a right into the wall and just pierced a hole through it. Oh, he's playing 5 Nights VR. That's a valid reaction. 5 Nights in VR, I feel like that is worth the amount of screams. Look at the in the zone face. It's very important. You may be wondering, the guy's got a broken mic, right? But that's where you'd be wrong, okay? The mic probably even has a compressor on it. It doesn't matter. He's been trained in the sonic arts for so long that he knows how to just decimate anybody with, or anything with ears that can pick up sound. I don't know if there's an explanation for what's happening here, but we have to ask ourselves, are wizards like Yensid over here using their powers for good, any sort of good? I don't know the context of whatever's happening here, but I can't imagine it's for a good cause. If a wizard casts a spell on stream and no one's around to see it, except for chat, did it even make a difference? Did it even matter? Was it even magical? This is the important question that arises with Wizard Yensid. His sheer power alone is clearly on display, but you know, why isn't he using that to combat the people trying to shut down the protests? Why isn't he using his powers for a better cause? It really does raise some important questions, you know, whether wizards like this, you know, do we just leave them streaming like this? You know, is that good enough? I don't know. Who's to say?
We got you get shot first, fucking little pussy ass bitch. Get the fuck out of here, motherfucker, dude. Fucking stingy ass little bitch that's hiding in your dancing, you little fucking slut. Fucking little fucking whore piece of shit, dude. All you fucking do is hide in a fucking box, you piece of shit. This is why this guy game's gonna die out, cause all you fuckers know how to do it.
Smack Talk. It has to be one of the strongest spells in Wizard Yensid's arsenal. I think it's pretty clear if there was if it was a match between him and somebody else smack talking, he would decimate. He would destroy. I mean, just look at that face. Oh gosh. I don't think I've ever been enraged enough to just, you know, while playing video games, to just give a like, you know, to my enemies. It's part of it. It's part of the strength of his witchcraft. Just destroying them by all means. Screaming, spittle in your eye. So like a couple McNuggets. A couple McNuggets are about to get obliterated. Oh my gosh! I'd like to underscore this chatter asking, you know, what's happening? I couldn't tell you. Now, I'm not familiar with all kinds of wizard behavior, but I am equally intrigued about what this is. You know, someone down here is saying nugget ritual. I can't relate to the kind of ritual that is being displayed here. My nugget ritual is very different. But a wizard's nugget ritual, you know, it may very well look like this. And that's not the point in Laugh. But wizards gain their powers from chicken nuggets in very different ways than we do. So I don't even have grounds to criticize what's happening here. You know, it is what it is kind of situation. Okay, well, I think that concludes our wizard discussion, our discussion of wizards. Leave a like if you enjoyed this. If you want more in-depth discussions about figures of the internet, let me know, because I'm interested. You know, I'm interested in reporting on matters and figures of the internet. Let me know. And if there's anybody still watching, it might be important to share with you that I created a Twitter. I thought to myself, if there is any good time to create you know, a Twitter account and enter into the Twitter sphere, you know, it might as well be now. So if you want to follow me on Twitter for whatever reason, it's @CarryTheSnail. I don't know what I plan on posting on Twitter, but it's there if you want to stalk it. If you want to send me suggestions of videos to watch or whatever, you could send them there. I appreciate you joining me on this magical excursion, and I'll see you next time.